Hello, my name is Arnoldo Fernandez, and this is my presentation on the cognitive development in late adulthood. First, let's define what late adulthood is. Also known as old age or the elderly stage, late adulthood is characterized by various physical, cognitive, psychosocial changes. This life stage often involves adjustments in health, lifestyle, and social roles, as individuals face challenges associated with aging, retirement, and potential changes in independence and overall well-being. That's something that I think a lot of us younger folks need to think about, is how later on in life, it's it's inevitable that we will all enter this stage. And so there are things that we can do now to plan and prevent any complications that may happen before then. And then there's aging on the mind. With that, the aging process can lead to slight reductions in some major functions of the brain, such as sensory register, working memory, long-term memory, and the associative memory. For the sensory register, also known as the sensory memory, it's the initial stage in the process of memory where information from the environment is briefly held for a very short duration. It is the immediate and direct response of the sensory organs to stimulus such as sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. The sensory register acts as a temporary holding place for sensory information before it undergoes further processing. So think of this as the initial sense. Let's pretend that we're closing our eyes, and you can feel the desk or table that is close to you, or you can hear the sound of a dog barking in the distance. That's what sensory register would be. And then following up on that is it's the first stage in the memory process where information from the surrounding environment is temporarily stored. This initial phase is crucial for the subsequent processing and storage of information in memory. As individuals age, there are notable impacts on the register, mainly being the processing of sensory information. So as we grow older, things that we sense or may not sense, for example, there's hearing, there could be hearing loss, there could be an effect on visual, what we see. This all gets affected as we grow older. Then there's the working memory. Working memory is a cognitive system that plays a crucial role in temporarily holding and manipulating information for various cognitive tasks. It serves as mental workspace, allowing individuals to actively process and work with information needed for problem solving, decision making, and other cognitive activities. So like this, I like to imagine just you have a problem in your head and you're trying to figure out how best you can solve it. An example that I use in my presentation is a Rubik's Cube. That's one where, you really have to think about how you're going to solve that. There's complex math problems, and then, just think about your mental workspace. Think about a problem that you're trying to work on and how you go about trying to fix it. Efforts to mitigate the impact of aging on working memory may include engaging in cognitive training exercises, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and adopting strategies to compensate for potential cognitive challenges. Understanding the nuances of working memory decline and aging is essential for developing targeted interventions and support for elderly individuals facing these cognitive changes. And that's just going on about how we can prevent, or at least try to prevent, the cognitive decline that may happen as we grow older. Long-term memory is a stage of memory responsible for the storage and retrieval of information over an extended period. Aging can have distinct effects on different types of long-term memory, with episodic and semantic memory being two key components. With episodic memory, this is personal experiences and events tied to specific times and places. For myself, I can think of an episodic memory of my time when I traveled to Portugal. When I listen to fado music, it's like a old type of folk music. It's music that I heard a lot out there. So whenever I hear the singer, her name's Amalia Rodriguez. Whenever I hear that singer, it makes me think of that time when I was in Portugal, and specifically, my tia playing music in the house. And then there is the semantic memory. Semantic memory deals with general knowledge and facts independent of personal experiences and temporal context. With semantic memory, this is like the overall knowledge, skill set that you obtain, just memory of the just the tangible things that we worked on. For example, my father, he worked for 40 years in a bakery, so he knows a lot of technical stuff about what goes on in that bakery. He still talks about it, even though he's currently not working anymore. But he knows the job, and he talks about it like he still works there every day. He also knows a lot about cars, so that's something when he was younger, he worked a lot as a mechanic, so he has a lot of knowledge on vehicles, and he uses his semantic memory for that. Strategies to support long-term memory in older adults may involve engaging in activities that stimulate cognitive function, maintaining an active and intellectually stimulating lifestyle, and using external cues to aid the memory recall. Understanding the impact of aging on long-term memory helps inform us learn what we can do to promote cognitive health and preserving memory function later on in life. There's also associative memory. With associative memory, this plays a crucial role in forming and retrieving connections between different pieces of information. This type of memory involves linking and recalling relationships between various items, events, or concepts. Aging can have discernible effects on associative memory, influencing the ability to create and retrieve the associations. The neural basis of associative memory involves complex networks of neurons and synaptic connections in the brain. Various brain regions, including the hippocampus and areas of the neocortex, are implicated in forming and retrieving these associative memories. And with the associative memories, it's a bit similar to episodic memories when I think about it. But with the associative memories, these are memories that we associate and form these connections. With that, like, I could think of my mother who when she plays, for example, whenever I hear the artist Selena Quintanilla, I think of my mother. Specifically, I think of the time she would be playing this music in the kitchen while cooking, cleaning. Those are memories that I have ever since I was a very young age, and that's something that I associate Selena's music is with my mother. Then there's mnemonic devices. Mnemonic devices is a memory aid or technique designed to help individuals remember information more effectively. Mnemonic devices can take various forms, including acronyms, acrostics, rhymes, associations, and other strategies that make information more memorable and easier to recall. The primary purpose of mnemonic devices is to enhance memory retention and facilitate the recall of specific facts, concepts, or sequences. So for mnemonic devices, these are things that we can think of, such as acronyms. I think of the acronym AARP. AARP does stand for, give me one moment, the American Thank you for your patience. It's for the American Association of Retired Persons. So that's an example. So whenever I think of AARP, I do think of this association. I think of, and they work with retired people all the time. So I'm familiar with it through my dad. There's rhymes or jingles. I think of the one of the "I've fallen and I can't get up" jingle. Like that one reminds me of Life Alert. And that one, when I think about that, it was a commercial back in the day where these people would have a necklace on, and if they had gone into an accident of some sort, they can always click on the necklace. And I think of that saying, "I've fallen and I can't get up," along with that Life Alert thing. And then yes, a little more talking about my family. So I just like to think about how both my parents are in this late adulthood stage themselves. My mother, she was born in 1955, born in Michoacan, Mexico. Currently, she's there right now, just visiting, but she'll be back. And then, yeah, she was born back in the day, and talks about it, with a loving heart. She has very fond memories of Mexico. Yeah, and then right now, as the age that she's in right now, there's things that she does to stay connected with her friends, his family, things that help her promote that cognitive health, in a way. So things, because if you're just kind of sitting around not doing much, then that doesn't really help you out in the long run. But yeah, she spends a lot of time with the grandkids, with the family, and out there in Mexico, she's being active, which is really good. And then I'd like to talk about my dad for a little bit as well. My dad was born in 1944. He'll be celebrating his 80th birthday pretty soon. We're thinking of throwing some type of party. I'm not sure, something, but with my dad, yeah, he is getting up there in age. He did lead a very active lifestyle when he was younger, but now his health is starting to decline a little bit, which is a little bit hard. One thing that he does, likes to talk about his past a lot, which is, a great way to work on those muscles. And one thing that I think he does positive is just try to interact. He tries to interact with the grandkids, when they're there, he's tries to be there with them. But as I'm talking about, like, with the decline, there's sometimes where my dad's kind of not aware of where he's at, or for example, he will just kind of go off on tangents about random things, but that's just old age. That's kind of what happens. And the best thing that we can do for these people, for ourselves, is just to be social, to stay connected with one another, and be there for each other.